Well, back in 1978, I got a really cool toy for my birthday. It was the Kenner Star Wars Han Solo laser pistol. Absolutely loved this toy. Remember when I went to go see the original Star Wars movie with my brother back in 1977? I was pretty fixated on the Stormtrooper rifles, the Han Solo blaster, lightsabers. The weapons of Star Wars were really fascinating to me, as well as the ships and, of course, the droids. And when I got this for my birthday, I was so happy. My mom actually made me a holster for mine. She went and got one of my older toys to play with. It was a can't remember who made it, but it was a cap gun. It looked like a 6-shooter. Had white handles. Took those roll caps, and it came with a really nice leather holster for it to go in and a belt. So she took the belt, modified it, took the original leather holster off, made me a new one that was lower down, so I could strap this to the side of my leg using a leather tie strap around the bottom to look like, Han Solo. It was really cool. I wore this thing all over the place. Riding my bike, running around the yard. I always had this on my side to play Star Wars at the drop of a hat. Battle them stormtroopers. Such a great toy. When this originally came out, it was around $6.49. I'll put a conversion factor right here because I'm too lazy to do it before I recorded the video. But anyway, and I remember seeing this in the catalog, and I love the description of this in the catalog. Star Wars laser pistol. Secret on-off button energizes gun's motor with trigger activating a 2-speed laser sound. Uses 2C batteries. Yeah, 2-speed laser sound. Basically, it's the first laser sounds, you hold the button, hit the trigger, makes a high-pitched sound, or you hold the trigger and then hit the button and it makes a lower-pitched sound because you're putting drag on the motor already. I prefer the high-pitched sound. So you hold the button in first, get the motor sped up, then just start tapping the trigger to make the zzz noises. It's pretty effective for a mechanical sound effect. Later editions of this gun, later on, years later, they made them with digital sound effects, which are pretty cool, but those guns are orange. Other releases of this gun have like gray dials, a red trigger, red button down here, or the paint of the barrel's been painted, that kind of stuff. I like the original. Now, this is not my original. This is one I picked up at Cro-Mag Toys in Raleigh, North Carolina. And it was missing one of the dials here for the battery compartment. So I got a really good price on it. They have good prices there anyway, and they take good care of me when I go there. So what I did is I found a lone dial from an Empire Strikes Back pistol, which those were gray. So I painted it up black using my Tamiya RC paints. And it looked really good, but now this one was too light. It wasn't the same color as that one, so I had to paint this one too to make a match. Now eventually, if I run across an original set of dials, I'll put those on there and I'll put these off to the side, maybe give to somebody that needs them for their gun or something like that. But for now, I like it like this. I just wanted something to hang on my wall, just to look at every once in a while and just have some nostalgia. Think about all the fun I had with this gun as a kid, having imaginary stormtrooper battles out in the woods. All kinds of cool stuff. So let's look at the battery compartment real quick. So you turn these little dials right here, and you open this up, and right there's your batteries. 2C batteries. Now back in the day, one of the battery manufacturers used to make their batteries in all red, ever ready. And they had a picture of a black cat jumping through a number 9. I love those batteries. Usually when I got batteries, I try to get those because I like the red color. And I used to pretend they were laser cartridges for my blaster pistol. Willie has a very active imagination. Now if you look at this hole right here, you can see the top of the motor. You push the button, the motor spins, and then when I move the trigger, you'll see the reed come down and touch the motor, the gear on top of the motor. So that's the first sound effect. And then here's the second sound effect. Hold the trigger in and push the button. That's how they got the 2-speed sound effect from the catalog. Both are pretty cool. They work really well. I'm going to put this back on. Oops. There we go. Turn the dial. A lot of times you find these out at antique stores or thrift shops or things like that. You'll find them with this battery compartment missing. Or you'll find it with the battery compartment, either one or both of the dials are missing. It's been pretty hard searching me to find one of these complete. I know I could have just bought one off eBay, but I was trying to find one out in the wild, and this one at the toy store, at the retro toy store, worked out perfect for what I was wanting. Pretty awesome. Now let's talk about some of the modifications I did to mine. One of the first modifications I did to mine is I added another switch in here, and I wired in a flashlight bulb up here in the barrel with some red cellophane. I just hard soldered the wires to the bulb, ran the wires down, went down to my dad's workroom and found a little micro switch. I can't remember what it was from. I don't know if it was from a microwave or something. I can't remember. But I mounted it inside of here, so when I pulled the trigger, it would activate the switch and cause the bulb to light up. And I was taking voltage off of the main batteries in there, which when you do that, it'll cause the motor to run a little bit slower if you have batteries that are not as charged as much. But it still worked really well, and it made a really cool effect, especially in the dark. You see this thing light up at the end with the red and stuff when you pull the trigger. Thought it was kind of cool. And another modification I made to my original was when I took it apart, I put plexiglass inside of here on the inside of these holes. And then on the back one, I got my engraver and I engraved a little crosshair into it. Now this is just a straight through hole right now. There's no lenses or anything. So that little detail made it look really cool, especially from the front, because you can see the light reflect off the lens right there. Made it look a bit more cooler looking. At least in my mind it did. Used to modify a lot of my toys back in the day. This one I probably won't modify. I'm going to leave it just the way it is. In the future sometime I'll try to find some of the original gray buttons, dials to put back onto this one. But it's still one of my favorite toys, and it still fits in my hand fairly well. I can still get in there and I can push the buttons and make the sound effects. That brings back a lot of memories running through the woods. Anyway, did any of you have this toy back in the day? If you so, comment down below. Tell me some stories about it. If you didn't have the toy, what are your thoughts on these older Star Wars toys that came out in the late 70s? This is one of my favorites I talked about in the Star Wars podcast Toy Tube episode, number 41. I believe it was number 7 on my list, if I remember correctly. I plan on doing another episode of the Toy Tube, talking about the Empire Strikes Back and the toys I had from that line as well, sometime in the future. But anyway, as always, everyone, thanks for watching.